Hello class, let's take a look at Chapter 5 in your online CompTIA Plus book. So I'm going to go to the table of contents. I'm going to jump down to Chapter 5, and as you can see, we've got hardware and network troubleshooting. Probably one of the main things you'll be focusing on as a plus employed candidate is your ability to troubleshoot. So this is an important chapter. It really is. And we start off with kind of a methodology, a framework, if you will, of problem solving. We start with identifying the problem, and when we identify it, we kind of come up with a theory of how did that problem occur. We'll give you an example. I was trying to print. I set up a computer very quickly, trying to print to a wireless printer, and it wanted a phone number from me. And I must admit, I did select the print driver quickly and select the printer without looking carefully. And I thought initially, well, that's odd. Well, it's an older HP printer. Maybe I'll power cycle it, turn it off, turn it on, and that'll solve the problem. It didn't. It wanted a phone number. And I thought for a minute, why would it want a phone number from me? I bet it wants to fax, not print. So I looked at the selected printer again, and I realized it was for an HP DeskJet, OfficeJet printer, but it picked the fax option, not the printer option. And in my rush, I totally missed it. But the little clue about what is the error, what is the error trying to tell me, is something you've got to kind of pause and think about. Another example might be, identifying a problem and kind of thinking of a theory behind it. Sometimes you don't know step 2, right? You see a problem, you get an error message on the computer, and you really don't know, why am I getting that message? What I have done many times is I've keyed in that error message exactly as it's stated in Google, and I looked it up. I thought, certainly someone has come across that error message before. And I've even put that error message in ChatGPT, artificial intelligence, to get a little more background on the error message. And sure enough, I usually am able to figure out how to solve the problem then. And then I go to test my theory and come up with a plan of action. And hold on. Okay, I'm back. Going to step 3, sometimes we don't know the cause, but the searching for information about the error on Google or artificial intelligence does give you a clue to that. You make a plan to solve the problem. In my case, I picked the right printer and it worked. And then you probably want to document it if it's an enterprise situation for others. So if they run into it, they know kind of how to solve that problem. Let's see, a little bit about power on codes. You usually get one beep, everything's working okay. If you get more than one beep, you've got a problem. And you might wonder if the number of beeps is a clue to how to solve the problem. And it is. And here's an example down here. If it's memory, depending on the BIOS, right, what version you have on the motherboard, you'll get a number of beeps. And you'll see a lot of Dells and enterprise deployments, and those are pretty common. You get a sequence of fast and short beeps, and that invariably tells you what the problem is. Many times it's the motherboard or the memory. I've run into that once. It was a hard drive. So you look at the number of beeps. If it's a light on the front of the computer, on a screen, many times it's just the sound itself that tell you what the problem is, which is really handy. What else? Okay, so if it's emitting a light, you get wait, we're back here. Hold on. I jumped ahead of myself. The LED status lights just let you know what's going on the computer. Many times if your hard drive is reading or writing or accessing the drive, then the light is flashing, telling you that it's going on. I've just bought a gaming computer. I upgraded it. It's got colored fans and they circulate, so the lights tell you what's happening. Read-write failure. So this can happen, and there's a number of reasons why it can happen. Some of these I'm looking at here on the screen are probably not the most common reasons. Many times the hard drive just fails. They're designed to last 3 to 5 years. Many times they'll go 5 or longer years. Other times you'll get one that'll crash in a year. So you'll hear it crash sometimes on the older drives. On the new ones you don't. There's just no operating system available. So when it boots up, and there's your clue that it's a a damaged drive. I've not run into a case where it's the cable itself. I've not run into where it's overheated, those kind of problems. But you will run into a failure to load the operating system, and that's a clue that it's a hard drive. Let's see, what else? Projector issues, cabling issues. If you've got a projector connected to a computer and you're doing a presentation, I would guess that many times it's the bulb itself. That's the only problem I've seen that's caused it not to work. Battery health is a problem. If you leave it plugged in all the time on a laptop, you're not going to get the life out of it. Many times they're replaceable unless you have an Apple, and then you'll have to bring it into the store to do that. What else? Printing troubleshooting, and I gave you an example of a printer where it was a user error in setting up the right printer. Inkjet printers are notorious for having problems if they sit for long periods of time and they don't get used. You start them up again. There's a banding as far as the coverage of the ink, and you may have to go some diagnostic head cleaning procedure where it prints on a piece of paper and kind of cleans the print head itself. That's how you get rid of that problem. Very common. This is one that happens more in an enterprise situation where you can't get to the network. And there's some network commands you can use to see if you can actually ping or connect to the server or the switch and get outside of your local area network. I would say probably more than anything, when I've run into network problems in an enterprise environment, it's the network cable itself, the patch cable from the wall to the desktop computer that has, for some reason, been run over by a chair or something, or gets kinked, and that's what the problem is. But you will check for that. Wireless. Could be too many people on the network. It could be that the router and the router modem needs rebooting. That is a little computer, and that will slow down your system if it doesn't get rebooted from time to time. Let's see. I think I'm going to stop there. Voice over network, port flapping. Let's see what else is important. Okay, exam prep. So go through this. This is not a long chapter, but there's some really important things to remember as far as troubleshooting and looking up the error messages, and I'm not sure the book spends a lot of time talking about that, but and dealing with a lot of situations where there's a network error. Putting that error message in Google or an AI like ChatGPT or something will help you identify what the error is. And the other thing you can do, and that's not heavily covered in this chapter, is you can look to the log files in the computer itself and see what the error message, what got logged, what error message did actually occur, and then search for it that way. So I'll leave you with that. If you have questions, email me, and we'll see you on the net. All right, bye for now.